Hey guys, welcome back to Soulfully You. This is me, and today I'm here because there's been this whole controversy going around Stranger Things Volume 2, and fans claim that it was so bland and that it was so less in duration, which is right basically. But what if I told you that Netflix may be the reason for it?
No.
You heard me right. There's been this Google document going around the Stranger Things fans saying that Netflix is the sole reason that Stranger Things Volume 2 turned out to be like this. Because during editing, they decided to cut off very important scenes from Volume 2, which explains the blandness of the series. So, I have this copy of the Google document in my phone, and today I'll provide the link in the description so you can also read it if you want. I'll be reading this whole thing out and expressing my reaction. So, okay, let's go. Okay, so let's begin to read. The issue. Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 2 has evidently been tampered with. Allegedly, there have been entire plot lines and character arcs which have been edited out or changed mid-filming for various reasons, and some of this corroborated in the reasonable measure by multiple sources. So this is what I said earlier. They have been claiming that Netflix is behind this editing chaos. So let's move into the claims. A reliable source who accurately leaked multiple scenes from Stranger Things Volume 1 prior to release messaged, okay, there are two accounts given, claiming that they had information about cut scenes and plot lines from Volume 2. Their claims are as follows. Will's arc with Vecna or Henry was significantly shortened. An entire subsequent plot of Elle and Mike going to Camazotz to save Will was cut. Oh my god. Okay, so first of all, I agree with whatever this claim is in the first point, because Will's arc with Vecna or Henry was significantly shortened. Yes, I felt so because there was the story gaps on why Vecna chose Vecna chose Will as his first victim, and there are just so many questions about this whole relationship between Vecna and Will. So I think it has to be answered, or maybe if they are right, if it was cut off, maybe the answers would also have been cut off. I actually agree with the first point. But the second point, an entire subsequent plot of Elle and Mike going into Camazotz to save Will. How will even Mike go to Camazotz? He doesn't have any powers actually, and if Max was saying that it was Camazotz is actually Henry Crill's memory. So how would Mike go there? I mean, it would be justified to say that Max, who was, partially Vecnified, was in the Camazotz. Okay, and Holly was taken by Vecna, so she is also in Camazotz. And maybe 11, using her powers, may have gone to Camazotz, but Mike? Was he also Vecnified at some point, and that point was cut off? I don't know. I'm not quite sure about the second one, but I'm dead as sure about the first one. Okay, so next point is a deeper exploration of Will's sexual trauma, which would have made the show TVMA as was originally planned, reminiscent of the first 5 minutes, was toned down or cut from the final version. Okay, so I guess there's the scene in season 2 where Will explains to Joyce what literally happened to him when he was first possessed by the mind flayer. He was repeating this thing like, I felt him everywhere. I felt him everywhere.
I felt it everywhere. Everywhere. I still feel it. I just want this to be over. It's okay. It's okay.
So, according to psychologists, that's how children describe sexual assault. So, I guess Will was sexually assaulted at some point, and a deeper explanation of Will's sexual trauma was toned down or cut from the version. I think I agree with this because there are many Easter eggs in the series. So fans have pointed out that Will may or may not have been sexually abused. So I think I partially agree with this one. Okay. And the next point is Mike and Will scenes, including ones where music plays a fundamental role, were cut. A song mentioned to be in a scene was Just Like Heaven by The Cure. Okay, so it claims that scenes between Mike and Will was also cut off. Mike and Will were supposed to have a one-on-one scene in the basement, referenced on Versus radio multiple times. Okay, so is this about Byler? Does this have anything to do with Byler? I don't know. Probably yes, probably not. I don't know. And the next point is Max and Will were in a team with Elle and Holly at some point, which was supposed to explain Max and Will's sudden closeness. I knew it. I knew it. Because there is no absolute reason for someone like Will to have such a sudden closeness with Max. I mean, at season 3, they were not this much bonded. So why at season 5 they have this connection out of nowhere? Like Will is surpassing Elle at this point regarding the connection with Max. I wonder what happened. There was supposed to be a scene of Will being tortured in front of helpless loved ones, Joyce, Mike, Jonathan. Oh my lord. I mean, if this scene was there, it would have added so much emotional depth to volume 2, I guess, because you know how emotional we got when the Jonathan and Nancy breakup scene was happening. So, yeah, it would have added so much like depth to even the character arc. So I wonder if the claim is correct, if Netflix has seriously cut this off, why would they do that? Just why are they trying to turn this into another, Game of Thrones? Because Game of Thrones faced a lot of backlash regarding the final season. So are they trying to turn this into another Game of Thrones? I better not jinx it. I really hope it doesn't turn out like that. And Will was supposed to have a fake out death, which was supposed to parallel Will's CPR scene from season 1. Hence, the earlier instance in interviews that season 5 was similar to season 1. Does Will get a CPR in season 1? Okay, I'm having like a. Oh, yeah. Hopper does give him CPR in the upside down, so yeah. Supposed to have a fake out death, which was supposed to parallel. Oh, this is getting serious. Now, the claims above are supported by Eleven and Max reunion was out of character. Eleven did not react as if she was seeing Max for the first time in years. It is better explained by their actual reunion taking place in an entirely different scene in a plotline that was cut. The scene we are shown is merely their reunion in Hawkins or the first time reunited after Max woke up. I knew something was off when I saw this scene on how Elle reacted when she saw Max waking up. Like, they were supposed to be best buddies. And if my best friend was in a coma and she woke up after 1.5 years, 18 months, I think. Yeah, 1.5 years. I would be like bawling my eyes off. I'd be like clinging to her. I wouldn't leave her. So I knew that Elle's reaction was such out of line. And yeah, I agree with this. I have to agree with this because Elle wouldn't react like that if she was seeing Max for the first time after waking up. No, I know. As I said, they're supposed to be best buddies, and best buddies don't act like this. Don't act so off. So yeah, maybe, according to these claims, maybe they might have met in Camazots. Yep, Camazots. Yeah, Camazots. Okay, let's move on to the next. This is getting so goddamn serious. I'm not even kidding at this point. Similarly, Max and Will seem remarkably and uncharacteristically close after Max wake up, almost as if they had bonded in Camazots prior. Okay, I kinda suspect this one also. There's a chance for this. Because if In fact, this is the reason that would explain so many things. This would also explain why Max doesn't seem to be bewildered by the fact that Hopper is alive and well. Either Elle or Will could have told her this already. Yep. Because Max doesn't seem to be shocked when she sees Hopper. In season 3, that was the last interaction between Max and Hop. That was in Stackport Mall. And later, they are met with the news that Hopper is dead. Hopper is dead. That was the news that reached the kids. And it is not until the last episode of season 4 that they finally, Hopper, Joyce, and Murray, reach Hawkins. So Max doesn't know. By that time, Max was in a coma. And Max doesn't know that Hopper is alive. In her mind, Hopper is supposed to be dead. But then in the episode 7 in the bridge, when Hopper and Max see each other, Max doesn't have so much of like a phased expression. No. She acts completely normal, and the only thing Hopper says to Max is that something like, "Welcome back, kid." Just that sentence, just that only one sentence. And I was like, what? There's no, I mean, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. There has to be some sort of a reason on why they are reacting like that. I want to know why. Right now I want to know why, because my brains are getting fried out of my skull right now. Oh my god. The next point is the random scene of Robin and Mike arguing could be explained by them having more interactions or an established dynamic that we did not see. Maya Hawke mentioned being a mentor to multiple characters this season. Thus far, we have only seen Robin bond with Will. Okay, so if Maya Hawke has in fact said that, I think it is to be looked into. I don't know. That argument, I don't know about that. But the second point, if she has said that, there is a chance that scenes could have been cut off. Like, seriously. And the next point is, Mike and 11 tub scene did not include the wide shot we saw in the trailer for the season. Cuts in the scene could lead one to believe it was shortened to remove any references to the plot cut. Also, a major plot hole here. It has been established that Vecna can block Elle out of his mindscape. However, their first plan is to build a tank for Elle to try and find Will. It makes sense that a previous attempt to go into Camazotz, maybe via piggybacking, was cut. Okay, so can Vecna actually block out Elle from his mindscape? I'm not able to recall any memory of him being able to do that. So if you guys know, please mention it in the comments so that I can regain my memory. Okay, and piggybacking, the same thing that they did with Max in episode 9 of season 4. Oh my god, this is just too much for me to register, because like Stranger Things is like my favorite series, and seeing my favorite series allegedly being destroyed like this, it's sad. Honestly, it's like really sad, because Stranger Things is one of the most peak series out there, and it's sad to see it being destroyed like this, if the claims are true, by the way. Raphael Luce, young Henry Creel, and Noah Schnapp have been seen in BTS for the season in sets which never actualized into real scenes for the season. In Volume 2, we only saw one scene of Raphael Luce's Henry giving blood. Henry and Will's connection has been teased since season 5 in production. Season 5 was in pre-production. Where were all those scenes? I think, yeah. Because, there's been this Broadway show, Stranger Things, The First Shadow, going around. And there is so many connections of The First Shadow with Stranger Things. Because The First Shadow, shows us the story of Henry Creel, his childhood, how he gained his powers and how he became Vecna, and how he meets the Mind Flayer, etc. The first shadow gives so much details about Henry Creel, which was supposed to be given in Stranger Things, the last volume also, but actually both in volume 1 and in volume 2, no mentions of the Mind Flayer has been made, and no mentions of how Henry Creel got his powers had been made. And given that the finale is just 2.5 hours long, how are they gonna fit in so much loose ends of plots in that? I genuinely doubt, because at this point, I don't know, like what do I have to say in this? I don't know. I just clearly hope that whatever issue this is, Netflix resolves it, because I don't want to see Stranger Things getting destroyed like this. Gabrielle Navarre had posted about her character Patty Newby in the Tie and Play The First Shadow, playing a part in Volume 2, yet we never saw her character and she was never mentioned. This was most likely a part of cut plotline. Speaking of the First Shadow, there were hardly any mentions of the Mind Flayer throughout Season 5, despite the play telling us that that is who truly is behind everything. What is that about? I genuinely really agree with this, because, as I said, there has been no mentions made about the Mind Flayer ever in this season, in this particular season. And also, during this scene in Max's memory, we see Henry Creel's childhood memory in which he is going to a school. And there it shows that he and Joyce Byers and Steve's dad, and also like so many other important characters in Stranger Things, including Hopper, studied together in high school. Joyce literally studied together with Vecna in high school. Okay, let it be. But then, why isn't it emphasized? Like, why isn't it given importance? Wouldn't Joyce know Henry if, like, they studied together? What really happened? Like, how did Joyce forget Henry? How did Hopper forget Henry? Literally, Henry acted in a drama that was written or yeah, like, oh my god, I'm having a memory glitch right now. I'm truly sorry. Like, I think it was directed. The drama was directed by Joyce Maldonado. It was I remember that flyer. I think it was supposed to be like that. If that's the case, like, Joyce and Henry should have a close connection, right? She's like directing the drama he is playing a role in. So, how could she forget Henry? And there are just so many loose ends. I genuinely thought that loose ends would be covered in volume 2, but I was wrong. Nothing was covered in volume 2. So I think I'm starting to believe these claims are true right now. There were rumors that the show had received a rating of TVMA. Previously, longer runtimes were posted to IMDb, which would make this more sense with alleged cuts made to Volume 2. I knew this because, like Maya Hawke, I think Maya Hawke said this, that this whole Stranger Things, all the episodes are like mini movies, like 2 hour or 1.5 hour or 2.5 hours long. I think volume 1 really did the job. It was long, but volume 2, none of the episodes even hit the 1 hour 30 minute mark. Like, it stops with 1 hour or 1 hour 10 minute. Like, what? They claimed it to be long, but this is not long. Perhaps the edit was made to preserve a TV-14 rating, which was more palatable for general audiences to maintain maximum viewership. However, this comes at the expense of the story. What the hell? I mean, if the story demands an adult rating, it should be given an adult rating. And it was given an adult rating. So, to ensure more viewership, they just cut off the story? I mean, like, is there no importance given to the authenticity of the things they're doing? I mean, you'll only get views if the content you give is authentic. If you cut off the authenticity for views, then how are people gonna watch? And it is said that they did this for, like the rating thing, to ensure maximum viewership. Do you think 14-year-olds don't watch the A-rated movies? I mean, in the sense of gore and substance use and violence, not in the sexual sense. There are movies in Netflix that are rated A because of gore, sexual content, yeah, sometimes sexual content, and also substance abuse, language. Netflix rate these things A. And also there are other A-rated movies which doesn't have any kind of sexual activity but is simply given A because of substance use, because it is gore, because it has bad language. Netflix rate these things A. So in the sense of these movies which I said, which excludes sexual activity, do you think kids don't watch that? Of course, kids do. I was also once a 16 and 15-year-old, and I used to watch these films which was rated A, even though there was known sexual activity. I used to watch those films. Really, I used to watch those films. People do watch them. They don't mind the gore. There are teens who can take the gore. So, what was the necessity of that if this is true? What was the necessity? What was the absolute necessity? Okay, so the next point is, earlier this year in February, a style guide that has proven to be accurate was leaked. All dialogue featured in this style guide except "You are a survivor" about Will has been set within the show. The line must have been included in one of the scenes from the cut plot lines, potentially a cut line from the scene of Mike and Joyce in Wiz's basement. Might have been cut for alluding to Will and the CSA stuff that's scrapped. Yep. We are seeing more of it now. The editing time difference for the episodes, with episodes 1 to 2 done in July and episodes 3 to 4 done in August, but episodes 5, 6 and 7 still being edited as late as December. As late as December? I seriously pray that this is not true, because if this was true, I'd be giving up my Netflix subscription for real. Okay, let's just move on to the next point. The Duffer preemptively feeling the need to clarify their plots, points, and intentions in interviews, and having these articles scheduled immediately after the season drops. This is something that has never happened before and seems as if they were aware things might be too confusing to follow, as they were essentially incomplete story beats. See, like in the previous seasons, after the season released, Matt and Ross Duffer wouldn't react that much. But in season 5, both in volume 1 and volume 2, Matt and Ross Duffer literally like say explanations for things. I'll give an example. That scene where the unproposal scene of Jonathan and Nancy, that scene confused many viewers because some people thought that it was a proposal. Some people thought that it was a breakup. Some people thought that they were not getting married but they chose each other. But some people think that they are forever separated. There was this whole confusion going around regarding that scene, and there is still confusion going around regarding that scene. I can tell myself, as a huge fan of Stranger Things. And it is being said that Matt Duffer has confirmed that Nancy and Jonathan has in fact broken up. So this thing happening right now, this explanation by the Duffer brothers, it has never happened before, as said in the Google document. So I think I totally agree with this. Water safety crew was listed for episode 5, but no scene including water was present. Isn't this a biggest proof that something is going on? Like, if this is true, like something is cut off, I'm having a glitch right now actually, because, if this is true, I don't even know what to say, man. Stranger Things is like my favorite series ever, and seeing this happening to Stranger Things, it's like, it's not even sad, it's depressing at this point. Chance's actor Hunter Romanillos hinted that he and presumably other bullies would return in Volume 2 and the finale, only not to show up in Volume 2 at all. Damn. Who was Chance? I am so sorry because I am having trouble recollecting my memory. Who was Chance actually? Like, I'm really saddened by all these things, so I'm not able to recall my memory. So, if you guys know, please mention who Chance is in the comments so that I can. This is the second time I'm saying this right. Regain my memory. Yeah. The actress of Holly Wheeler, Nell Fisher, posted a story of two puppies named Mike and Will together to the song Just Like Heaven by The Cure on her Instagram story. Similarly, the majority of the songs on the Versus Connection vinyl were not featured in the show after a promise from the Duffer Brothers that music would be integral to the season. Yeah, I heard that promise that Duffers made that music would be integral to the season, but so long I haven't seen any, like emphasis made to music. The Squawk Radio, which was a promotional online radio station, was said to be dropping clues and subliminal messages about the season. They incessantly mention a romantic encounter in the basement, among other things, most of which did not happen in either Volume 1 or 2. Various crew members who worked on the season have posted that they were not permitted by Netflix to publish BTS photos online, probably due to the amount of content that could possibly and potentially reveal the cut material. The Duffers were said to have fought long and hard with Netflix executives on the story this season to no avail. This would explain why they are moving or streaming platforms or ending their exclusive deal with Netflix. At this point, I feel really sorry for the Duffer brothers because it was their, you know, I saw the interview with Jimmy Fallon and they said that they were rejected by so many. It was their hard work, it is their blood, sweat, and tears. Stranger Things literally is their blood, sweat, and tears. And if Netflix is doing this to them on the name of viewership, I don't even know what to say. I feel really sorry for the Duffer brothers if this is true. Because it is just so unjust what is happening to the Duffer brothers. And if they are in fact moving the streaming platform, I wouldn't blame them. Because if this is what is happening to their story, with which is, owned by Netflix, I'm just so speechless. I'm at loss of words at this point. Merchandise of a mixtape that read for Will was spotted, and they've given a link over here, but never used or referenced within the season. It's possible this is simply a callback to the mixtape Jonathan made for Will in season 1, but still suspicious enough to include. The actors and crew's previous statements about the episode do not add up with what we currently have, such as, okay, so now they are emphasizing about the actors' statements that were made. Jamie Campbell Bower, Henry Creel Vecna 1, talked about having to unpack being Vecna with his therapist because of how dark the subject matter dealt with in season 5. As it stands in volume 2, Vecna has not done anything particularly out of his element, especially dark, twisted, like we were teased. Yeah. I think if, Jamie has certainly said that, there is really big chances the cut has been tampered with. Noah Schnapp will bias. General excitement about the season and his pairing with Finn Wolfhard, Mike Wheeler, and the changed demeanor in the recent press tour. Claiming the coming out scene was so stressful, he dissociated filming it. It felt that for all my scenes, Finn was always there. Okay. Finn Wolfhard, Mike Wheeler. He claimed that he couldn't reveal a song he associated with his character since it would result in a spoiler. Not only did Mike not have any meaning, He especially did not have any monumental moments with music. He also said that Mike has the most trauma, and that would have made sense if the alleged volume had taken place. And like trauma wise, I would actually agree with the statement because Mike had to deal with losing his best friend, and also like the disappearance of his girlfriend at some point, and also his sister, his family being attacked, his mother was attacked, his father was attacked, his sister was attacked, and his younger sister was kidnapped. So I guess Mike Wheeler has a lot of trauma. I think every character in Stranger Things has their own trauma. Like Will, oh my god, Will, I think he has the most trauma compared to anyone else. He and Eleven, they have the most trauma. Like Will was literally kidnapped when he was a kid and also sexually abused, allegedly sexually abused. And 11, she was held in captive for training for like telekinesis. They were just kids and they had to deal with so much trauma. And so, trauma wise, I really agree with the statement. I did watch the volume 2. Yeah, I did cry when the scene of Dustin asking Steve to not go, and the Nancy and Jonathan breakup scene. I bawled my eyes off. But no, it wasn't a dark Christmas for me. Where is the darkness? I'm asking you. Where is the darkness? I need the darkness. Give me the darkness. Matt Duffer on the finale. We finished the finale last week, or it was yanked away from us last week. I mean, we could be working on it for another year if we could. It feels very odd. Oh my god. It was yanked away. Did Matt really say this? Guys, I need you to respond if Matt really said this or not. If he did say this, please give an explanation in the comments, because this would solely explain half of this is true. Because if Matt did say that it was yanked away from them, it definitely means that Netflix has something to do with all this controversy. And next we have Sean Levy, the director of the director of Stranger Things. Finn and Noah had to carry a lot of emotional weight. Finn and Noah play a central role in the final episodes. Guys, doesn't episode 7 qualify as final episodes? Yes, episode 7 does qualify. Where was the emotional connection? Where was the emotional weight? I think it was 0.00001 kg, the weight. And then they've given this petition to release the volume 2 extended cut. So I did, click this link. It is legit. It leads to a page known as change.org, and it leads straight to a petition claiming and suing Netflix Canada, and also the Duffer Brothers to release the unseen footage from the Netflix series Stranger Things. It's spreading like a wildfire, this one. It is really spreading. So I guess what I have to say about this whole situation is that if these claims are literally true, which to an extent I believe is true, Netflix and Duffer Brothers, I don't know if Duffer Brothers can do anything about it, but Netflix has to resolve this issue as fast as possible, because they are risking the authenticity of one of the most favorite shows of all the time for the alleged viewership. And it is honestly sad seeing one of my most favorite series being destroyed like this. It is so sad. So we as audience and them as the entertainers has to do something about this. Really, guys. So the link for this Google document and also the slideshow regarding all the evidences and also the link for the petition, I'll drop it in the description box so you can check it out. Thank you for watching.